Hello and welcome to this edition of Trojan Talk. I'm Paige Ray. Joining us today are two very special guests. We have artist Jerry Siegel and curator Paul Barrett. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So you guys have a special event coming up, and you also have a special selection of art for us at the International Art Center. So can you kind of tell us what we can expect?
Go ahead.
Well, for this exhibition, I worked with Jerry, and we chose a lot of pieces from Jerry's Black Belt Color series that started around Jerry's birthplace of Selma, Alabama, and spread out to encompass images of people and places in the surrounding regions, as well as images from Jerry's artist series that went into his first monograph, Facing South.
Okay, now you mentioned that this is kind of Jerry's home and it's based on how he grew up and what he saw. Jerry, tell me what led you to put this together?
Just happenstance. Was a commercial photographer for years. And in 2008 he died, and I found myself kind of in a lull, and I bought a panorama camera to play with to kind of jumpstart myself. It's something I do occasionally, and went to Selma and photographed some things, and a friend said, well, you have a really cool series going, and I said, a lot of those places were beginning to disappear. So that was kind of the jump start of shooting around there.
Now, I've heard when I've talked to people who have seen this exhibit and everything that you guys have put together, it's like it shows beauty in places you might not always think are beautiful, and you might kind of pass by going down the road. Talk to me about that. How did you find beauty in that, and what are you trying to accomplish?
I don't know if I'm trying to, accomplish anything. I like the term responding to home. There's some things that I've shot with more intention, like going to the little fair in town, going back to the homecoming where I graduated, things that I knew would be sort of interesting for me to revisit. But a lot of it is just being on the road and going to different places and driving around, and things that going to little stores and just seeing things that interest me. It's not really trying to make a particular statement other than my contemporary view of the Southern South, rural Southern South.
Okay.
Southern South, well, that's kind of being redundant, of the South.
Now, Paul, when people go to see this exhibit and all of the art, what advice do you give them to look for, or what should they think about while they're in there?
When people look at art, you should always just look at everything, because one of the things that I love about Jerry's work is that a lot of art exhibitions, people will go and see one painting, one photograph, one sculpture, and say, oh, this is the best piece in the show. It's a great show, but this is the best piece. But working with Carrie Jackson's students when we were bringing the work in, people would look around and say, oh, I like that one. And then someone else would say, I really like this one. So the fact that people respond to different images in Jerry's work is exciting as a curator, because it tells me that he wasn't a one-shot wonder. But also, I think that looking at Jerry's work rewards the time that you spend looking and seeing the small details that he's taken time to notice and celebrate with his photography.
Absolutely. Now, you did bring up an interesting point, which is the students. There were students involved in this, and they kind of got to see how exhibits like yours come to be and the efforts that go into presenting it to the public. What was that like for you guys to be able to talk to future artists, or really, I'm sure some of them are current artists right now?
I always enjoy the interaction with students, or anybody that's, particularly students, but anybody that's interested in the work. I love to talk about my work. I love to talk about photography, and I love that interaction and to see what they're responding to and what their interests are.
And Paul, how was it for you being able to educate and teach these students?
It's always wonderful to engage with people, because artists need to know how to show their own work. And having the opportunity to come and study in college is a huge opportunity and a great starting point. But then when you have the galleries here where they can see how that happens in practice, it isn't only what they're hearing in the classroom, they get the opportunity to put together their own exhibitions. And when I look at other people's shows, I look at the art and I think about the exhibition design, but then a lot of the time I think, I really like the way that they did the lighting here, or, oh, I really like the way that they put these things together that helps make it feel more special and more intentional. So I enjoy seeing what they're doing and what other people doing, and I hope that some of them will feel